Right, another open up series. Today we're joined with Millwall midfielder Ben Thompson. How you doing today, Ben? You all right?
Yeah, all good, thank you. All good.
Good.
Proud to be on here. It's a pleasure for you to ask me to come in on here.
Do you know what? It was really good that we saw what you're doing on Twitter. But we're going to speak a bit more about that later.
Okay.
So we'll start off with yourself, Ben. You spent nearly your whole career at the Lions since the youth team. What age did you join?
So I joined at 15 or 16. So in June was my 9th year at Millwall.
Bloody hell.
Next June will be my 10th year at Millwall.
I take it you've enjoyed it, yeah?
In every minute. Ups and downs, but I've enjoyed every minute.
What's been your favourite moment?
Favourite moment? Got to be going up in the playoff final.
Yeah.
Against Bradford. That's definitely up there. FA Cup run.
Yeah.
That was another highlight. Playing at White Hart Lane, although we did get beat 6-0.
Did we get beat?
Although we did get beat 6-0, it was a hell of an experience.
The crowd, what was it? We took like 4,000 or 5,000.
Oh, Millwall fans are unbelievable.
Until the 90th minute, it was non-stop.
It was rocking. The whole place was rocking.
Yeah, I was there.
And I'd say the best game I've ever played in, at the Den would be when we first got to the playoff final against Barnsley.
Yeah.
The second leg against Bradford at the Den.
Yeah, that was good.
That was probably the best game I've ever played in at the Den. Atmosphere was unbelievable, electric.
Yeah.
And that still sticks with me now.
The away leg was good as well. Was it 3-1 away? I think
we won. I don't know if it was 3-0 or 3-1.
3-0 at half time. Or it was 1-0 down at half time. 1-0 down and 3-1 at half time. I can't remember.
Could have been that. But we come to the Den and we knew we were comfortable, and we sold out the whole stadium. There was fans on the pitch at the end of the game.
Yeah.
It was carnage. And that was one.
That definitely weren't me.
Away from home, it's got to be Leeds, Ellen Road.
Oh, of course.
Some place to play. I actually scored at Ellen Road, and I'll give it the old.
Yeah, exactly.
One to the Leeds behind the Leeds goal. So that was a iconic moment for me.
Talk us through that moment when Tim Cahill walked into the dressing room.
That video that went viral. Brilliant. And you got Jed in the background going, "Oh, friends!" Oh. It was unbelievable. Obviously, Timmy is a hero to all of us. All of us,
of course.
And to play alongside him was phenomenal. And when I first walked in the changing room and see him for the first time, I was like, "Oh my God, this is Timmy Cahill." I think it was even better than the time I actually sat on a boat. So I was on a boat once. I told this story yesterday to the assistant manager ads.
Yeah.
So when we actually lost the playoff final against Barnsley, me and my missus were like, "Oh, we better get away on holiday, just chill out." So we ended up booking a last minute holiday to Aruba in the Caribbean, and so we get on this get to Aruba, get on this coach, and they were like, it was like a drop off at every hotel, and we were like the only ones to get off at this hotel. So we were thinking, "Oh no, we've had a stinker here." Turns out we get to the hotel, it's a lovely hotel. It's like a little boat that comes in the hotel. There's a roundabout in the middle, takes you out to a private island. So we've gone on this boat. I'm sitting next to two geezers, their two misses, and a few kids and stuff like that. I've looked up, looked down, and I took a double look, and I was like, "That's Dirk Kuyt and Van Persie." I'm sitting next to them on a boat. I think I've hit a jackpot here. Like, that's my missus. Like, it's fucking.
She got a clue who they are.
I was a bit starstruck myself, but even like meeting them, I think Tim Cahill still tips that.
Yeah.
So with obviously being a professional footballer, there's a lot of differences between how, for example, I know Sam prepares for a game, probably having a beer or something. I don't know. How do you prepare for a game? How do you prepare yourself for a game? What's the routine?
I think I'm different to a lot of players. I like to do my normal stuff, live my normal life. I won't eat a takeaway before a game. I'll still eat I don't know, roast dinner or a chicken and pasta, chicken rice, whatever. But there's nothing special I do. There's no routine, or there's no mindset behind what I do before a game. I feel like you go to the game, you play the game, you give it your all. As long as you got the fuel in your body, as long as you got some food in your body, and the adrenaline gets me through it. Really, I'd say. There's no really real preparation or something that stands out to me. I live my life as I do normally.
So you haven't got like a specific diet, like you haven't got the Millwall chef setting you up a specific diet you need to follow 24/7 or anything?
Away games, yes. Away games, obviously, we have to eat the food that's there in the hotel that the chefs cooked for us. But home games, no. Before a game, I'll have a couple of slices of toast in the morning, and then just before I leave, I'll have maybe a couple more slices of toast. Like that's it. Yeah. I don't look into it too much. A lot of people have superstitions and things like that, and they have to eat the right things. And I feel like you're going out there doing a job, and that's it. Like to me, it's not too important.
When I've only ever played the sort of lowest level of semi-pro, and even then, like I used to think, I haven't had a good breakfast. I used to go straight from work, and if I didn't have a good breakfast, I'd be like, I'm going to play bad today. I'm going to play bad. Maybe it's just like an overthinking thing with a lot of people. Because I know a lot of people were like, if they don't have a good diet, even at Sunday League, they say if I don't have a good diet, if I don't have a good meal before, they're going to play bad. 100%. If you don't need to do that, I don't need to eat whatever 100%.
I think it's every player's different. I know a lot of players in the changing room have their superstitions, their certain diets. I think a few of the boys, I won't name anyone, but a few of the boys go vegan the day before or the day of the game, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's each to their own. I just enjoy life and go by as I don't change anything. I eat what I want to eat. My body fat's the lowest it's ever been at the moment. I'm currently at 8% body fat, which I've never ever been before. I'm normally around 9-10. So something must be working.
Doing something right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I would never drink before a game. Drink during the week of a game. After a game, I'll maybe have a few if we haven't got a game in the midweek, as some players will, some players won't. That's just me. I just take life easy, I'd say. But when it comes to work and going out on the pitch and doing a job, I'll give it 100%, and that's all I can do.
Fair play. What's your diet like, Sam? What do you do before game, Sam?
A curry before the game and a beer.
I've always wondered this, and maybe when I've retired, and maybe when I'm playing Under League football again,
there you go.
I'm going to try having a few pints before a game and see what happens.
Try it with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome to do that with me.
Have as many as you want.
Yeah.
I'll buy them for you. When you played against Tottenham, did you notice a big difference between obviously all the players in your team and obviously the Tottenham players? Could you tell there was like a level of fitness like between you or anything?
Fitness wise, not as much. No, technically, and the movement and the clever movement, yes, there was a massive difference. The way they move around, get in spaces. The sharpness around the final third that's the next level. It's next level stuff. Around the edge of our area, like just panicking 24/7, like all the time. They're around the edge of the area. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Little dink ball, little slide pass, little 1-2, give and go and shot. And I think that's the difference. Final third. play it around the back slowly. Well, say slowly. They play it around the back, nice and easy. And then as soon as they go on the break, as soon as they get in the final third, that's it. They just turn it on. And I think that's the difference between Championship and Premiership football.
You think there's a big difference between Championship and Premier League? Do you think there's a big gap?
Yeah, I would say there was a gap. I'd say there is a gap. Obviously, I've not played in the Premier League, so I wouldn't know specifically. There's a few players in the team that have played in the Premier League, but I would say there is definitely a big gap.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I think with the Premier League, when you've got the sort of teams that are floating around the bottom every year, maybe them against the teams that are around the top are quite similar. But then I think when you're talking about, sort of the top six, I think that's where it separates between, Championship and Premier League in the top six.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, you can see Man City last night. Like some of the play and some of the goals, just outrageous.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
So obviously, what age did you actually start getting into football, like playing wise? What made you get into it?
My old man. As soon as I started walking, my old man. So I actually lived, Hayden Football Club.
Yeah.
The Jordanswood, Birchwood Road.
Sort of know it.
Yeah. So I lived behind Hayden Youth Fields.
Yeah.
I lived behind there. So my dad would take me down the field. We'd have a kick around. He'd make me use my left foot, make me use my right foot, head in, everything like that. Every other day, every day maybe, we'd be out there. We'd be down the field, or we'd be out in the road playing Kirby or two touch or shooting against the garage and stuff like that. That's where it started for me for football. And then later on, obviously, when I got to about 5 years old, I think it was, I joined Hayden, and still keep in contact to him to this day. He actually works with my dad. The manager at the time, Nick Davis, his name is, top bloke. Works in the city with my old man, and he's coached me all the way up until I was scouted by Millwall, really. Yeah, and he's made a big impact on my career, as well as my dad. Mum as well. Mum took me all over the place, trained with various different coaches, teams and stuff like that. So yeah, Mum, Dad and Nick is definitely some people to thank for my career.
I think that's what people don't realise, that the big step with football, like when it comes to playing for a Sunday league side, the travel's normally it's not majorly far. Majority of the team, for example, if it was Kent, they're all based around the Kent way, sort of London way. But then once you go to that next level, you have to realise that, your parents are putting in a lot of sacrifice. They're making you.
100%.
When I was at Maidstone under 21s when I was just 16.
Okay.
And obviously I lived like sort of Elton way. I live Plumstead. Yeah. So I end up having to travel all the way up to Maidstone all the time.
Yeah.
And like my mum would go straight from work. My mum would literally finish work, take me straight there, and my mum would be at the house from, let's say, 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. just to take me to football twice a week. It's a big
parents massive. Parent support is massive. I think that the sacrifices you do for your kids is exactly what I aspire to do with my son and my son that's due soon. The dedication and sacrifices they put in is massive and key to if they're going to be successful or not.
Agree, 100% agree.
Yeah. So what we will do now is we will go into the more sort of bit of like the mental health side, for the reason like
the more serious side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically, we'll let you know. We do it every time, but we'll let you know how we become a club and why Kai created it.
So obviously being the Millwall Health Ambassador, this is a story that you can sort of I'd say understand. You can it's a dark story, but I'll start. So the People's FC, we was created because I unfortunately found a family friend take his own life at a local park in Plumstead, where the club was founded in Plumstead.
Okay.
I found him. I was just in the park. I'll make it a medium story rather than a long.
Yeah.
I was in the park with two friends. I actually went to the sort of bushy area of this park to go to the toilet. As I'm going, I've looked up and I've gone like, oh, someone's in the tree. Like I just thought it was someone in a tree. And I looked up again and I realised that someone had taken their own life. I called the police. I called ambulance, fire brigade, everything. They all come down. And I remember one of the things that hit me the most. There's three things that hit me the most. They said, can you cut him down? And I was obviously like, no, I can't do that. And in my head, about 5 minutes later, I was like, oh my God, I could have been a difference between saving his life and not. But turns out he'd been there for a day or something. So it wouldn't have changed. The next day, or I think it was the next day or 2 days later, I actually found out that I knew him.
Right.
And it was a family friend's son. So I actually grew up with his younger brother. And literally I can see where he lived from my house. So like that's how far away he lives. He lives directly behind me. And after that, where I think what hit me the most was that I didn't recognise him. And that's two of the things that hurt me the most, was thinking if I cut him down, I could have helped him. Or when I realised that I didn't recognise him, that really hit me. And that's when I got post-traumatic stress disorder. And I was a bit ill for 2 years. I'm still not as confident with a lot of things now. Like I can't watch films where people hang themselves and stuff. I have bad breakdowns from it.
Yeah.
And so after 2 years, I decided, I've always been big on football, especially like stuff to do with charity. I decided to do a one-off game to play against my friend Raja, who I started the club with.
Yeah.
And we done a game called the Thompson Charity Cup Final. It was a great day. We raised a lot of money for his two children. That's what we started off doing, raising money for his kids. And the day went so well, we were just like, you know what, we're onto something here. We could use football to help people. So we created the team. I was on our way to Blue one day. And I said, let's create a team. Let's think of a name. He said the People's FC. We planned to do one game a month, something like that. And now we've got, 5 teams, Sam?
Three adult, one youth, and one pans.
One pans is the big side. So yeah, we've got 5 teams. We come second in the country for the most charitable football campaign. We've won 2 trophies. We've got all our teams in leagues. We've raised over 10 grand for causes. So yeah, it was just, the way I see it is we've turned a negative situation into a positive.
It's phenomenal. Phenomenal work. And
yeah, it's just, that's how we started. And there's a lot more to it, but that's just the sort of simplified way that
the outline of it. Yeah. That's
basically.
Brilliant. I think that's something definitely that is needed out there. More people need to start doing stuff like that and understanding.
Well, on all of our tops as well, we have, because we are predominantly a mental health awareness team, and all of our, actually, well, stupidly enough, I'm wearing the only bit of merch that we've got that doesn't have our slogan.
Oh, this one.
Dan, you've got it on.
Oh,
okay. All of our merch has got the saying "it's okay to not be okay" on as well. And I'm stupidly the only one that don't have it on today.
So right, can we go on to the questions? So obviously the reason why we got onto your Zoom call today is because what we saw on Twitter, that you become the Millwall Health Ambassador. What made you, like, obviously, how did you get into that, etc.? Talk us through it.
Yeah, to be fair, there was a list of roles that come up in the club. The skipper, Piercy, we all got round in the canteen and basically put your hand up if you want to do the role, and everyone did put their hands up for the certain roles, and health, and mine's health ambassador, not mental health, but health. That comes all under the same bracket. So yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of it and to help people, really. A lot of stories yesterday from my DMs, and hundreds of messages come through I actually got through them all, to be honest.
Well, fair play.
Spent the whole day going through them all, and there's some of the stories, obviously heartbreaking, and it really made me feel like I'm doing something good here.
Exactly. Especially it's not the easiest time of the year what we're going through. We're sort of getting out of it.
Yeah, there's light at the end. That's what I'm saying to a lot of people. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly.
There is a way out. But yeah, that's all you can do. So I think just stay positive. There's things to come in the future. Obviously, getting out of this lockdown's majorly key for everyone, I feel. But yeah, some of the stories and that, and I just hope that people can, manage to sort their problems out. And if there are ever times that they need to talk to someone, I'm available to talk to, as well as you guys.
Number 2.
In your opinion, what is mental health? What does mental health mean to you?
Mental health to me is how you're feeling on a day-to-day basis, whether you're up or down, how you're reacting to your situation, how you react to different situations, the way you go about speaking to friends, speaking to family, going about your day-to-day life. Mental health for me is more day-to-day. Like if you're struggling with your mental health day-to-day, it's tough. Day-to-day it's tough for people. But that's how I see it. Whether other people see it differently, but I see it as if your day-to-day life you're struggling and you can't cope, then you've got an issue and you need to speak to someone. You need to find help for it.
With this next question, you don't have to answer it because it's a bit more of a delicate one.
No, I'm happy to answer it.
Cool. Have you ever suffered or known anyone suffering from mental health? If you know anyone, how easy was it to notice the person suffering?
Yes, I've struggled with mental health myself. Obviously, I don't know if you know, my brother passed away when I was 18, 16. So I struggled a lot, but I dealt with it my own way. I bottled it in. I never spoke to anyone about it. People spoke to me about it, and I would just block it out. And I dealt with it my own way. My out for it was football. I was back in training within 3 or 4 days, and that was my getaway from thinking about it and getting on with what I love and enjoy, and in the end making him proud, because I know he would have wanted me to be doing what I'm doing, going out on the pitch, playing every week for Millwall. And so I feel like that was my escape. I struggled a lot. There'd be moments I'd get in my car after training and I'd just pour out the tears and drive home. But I never spoke to anyone about it. I did have a counselling session once, but I didn't think it worked for me.
Yes.
I felt like my own way to deal with it is how I'm going to deal with it. But everyone's different. Some people need to speak about it, some people don't. I didn't need to speak to anyone about it. I still think about it now, day in, day out. Driving into train, a song will come on. Like, my brother loved Eminem.
Yeah.
And a song will like pop on the radio, and I'd automatically think of him, and I'd well up and things like that. But yeah, I've felt like I've dealt with it in my way and dealt with it well. Others, my mum, I've seen my mum suffer.
Yeah.
And my dad suffer. It's a tough one, really. You can see it. You can see day-to-day life. You can see how they're struggling. And definitely, if you see or recognize someone that's not in a good place, it's definitely something to approach them and just just say like, is everything okay? Just make sure you make sure they're okay.
That could be the difference.
That could be exactly. Even if it's just a hello, mate. You're not looking yourself. Like, how are you feeling? Something like that could go a long way. You could maybe help them and save them from whatever they're going to do or whatever they're feeling. So definitely speaking about it for some people is massive. Some people may not want to speak about it, but you can recognize that someone's not themselves at football. Some people come in, you can tell sometimes something's not right at home, something's not right with them. And luckily enough, we have a great bunch of lads, football. I've had times where I've been down at football and people like Jed, Alex Pearce, Sean Williams picked you up, made sure you're okay. The manager, Chopper as well. Chopper was a massive part of when my brother passed away, because he was under Ian Holloway at the time. Neil Harris was my under-23s manager, and Ian Holloway actually stopped training, cancelled training for the day. Neil Harris drove me all the way to Dover, because that's where my brother was at the time when he passed away. He took me there. All my teammates went to the funeral. Neil Harris went to the funeral. And yeah, it was nice to have them people around me and to be able to help me in any way.
Yeah. I forgot to ask Matt the other day, but what's it like playing without the fans there? Obviously,
horrible.
Yeah.
It's like a training game.
So, do you feel like it is a training game? Do you feel like if there was fans back, you would play better?
Yes, 100%. For me personally, I even spoke with the manager the other day about this. I'm not the best trainer. I'm not great in training. I'm a match player. I play under. I love pressure, and I thrive under going out there and playing in front of fans, entertaining, basically, smashing someone, winning a header, like stuff like that gets the crowd going. That's what I thrive off, and it's hard to do it without fans there. But I can still get myself up for the games. Like, obviously, it's still an important game because we're still playing the championship. We're still playing for whether we're going for the playoffs or going for whatever we need to achieve. So yeah, fans have definitely been missed. 100% been missed.
So what we'll do is we covered that area. Now what we'll do is we'll move on to the sort of charity work that we're doing. We sort of covered some of it, but we'll talk about the Ramis and UCL. So I want to start for the Ramis.
Okay.
Ramis is raising
awareness.
What is it? Raising awareness. Mental health. Raising awareness of mental health in schools. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is another thing that I've started, because I was going to mention it when you said about when you was in a dark place, but the only time there's been a few times I've been in a dark place, but the worst that I've been was I was at Welling United. I'd been there for a long time. I played under the same manager for years. I'd just been released by Welling United. I had just been kicked out of my second school. You know, I was being told, that's it, you're never going to get a job now, blah, 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 you've ruined your life. It sounds pathetic, but I had a girlfriend at the time. I think I was only 15. I'd been with her for a year or something, or whatever it was. She broke up with me or whatever. So I was in a really dark place. And, you know, it started just before I got kicked out of my second school. Yeah. So I always thought, like, who can I talk to? I don't want to go and talk to my mum and dad because, you know, my mum and dad weren't together, and, you know, I didn't want to cause anything at home. So I've always just thought about, if we was teaching mental health in schools, it could really help. It could help the kids in schools and let them know that it is okay to go and talk to your parents. It is okay to go and say to your teacher, look, I'm getting upset at being home. There's too much pressure with exams and stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing in the future, which we actually need to get a move on with, don't we, Sam? We do need to get a move on with that. So yeah, that's one of our big plans is the Grammys project, raising awareness for mental schools.
That's brilliant, because there is, as I say, the message you got yesterday. There's a lot of kids, especially between the ages of say 14 and 17, 18. There was a lot of messages of I can't talk to anyone. I don't know who to talk to about this, with all different issues. And I think that they need to know that there is people out there to talk to.
Yeah, agree.
And so
100% agree.
It's a great idea and something that definitely needs to be done.
Agree. Football Content Awards. Sam, where do we start with the Football Content Awards?
Football Content Awards, right. So, yeah, it was nominated for the Football Content Awards. It was meant to be held at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium back in, October or November?
November the 5th it was supposed to be, or the 4th.
Obviously, that didn't go ahead because of COVID. Well, it did go ahead, but it was just online on a Zoom call. I think it was. It wasn't even Zoom, was it? It was just streamed.
It was just live streamed.
Yeah. So we was up against the Rainbow Laces, the Premier League ones. Mind and the EFL, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the Bradley Lowry Foundation. There was so many more.
There was loads more, hundreds more as well.
And we was expecting to come like 10th, like last, because these are big names, these are massive names.
Yeah.
And it ended up, I think I was at home and we had a pre-season UCL match.
We'll explain UCL in a sec. We'll explain what UCL was in a sec as well.
I was like, God, we've come second. And literally, it's like everyone's like, yes. And we were expected to come fourth or fifth or whatever. To come second, and Bradley Lowry Foundation were first. It's quite big.
It was great achievement.
We was literally preparing for a game, so we was preparing for a charity game.
Yeah.
And we was all watching it. We was all sitting down at the bar. This was when we was allowed to sit in bars just before we went in the changing room. I literally clicked off my phone from this live stream for 5 minutes just to go set the changing room up because that's what me and the management do. Sam, you was late for whatever reason. I think it was for work or something.
Yeah.
And Sam rang me up and was like, "God, we've come second." I was like, "What? What do you mean? What do you mean we've come second?" Like, I couldn't believe it. And then
Brilliant.
What would have made that better would if we won that game, it would have been the perfect night. We ended up drawing. We raised, I think, £200 on the day for one of our charities, which was great as well.
Brilliant.
But then coming second in that, if we would have won as well, it would have been absolutely perfect. But coming second in that was like, we didn't even plan.
Massive achievement.
Yeah, we didn't even plan to get this big. We just planned to do a charity game once a week or once a month or something. So it was crazy. But so with the UCL, we've got two things, which is the UCL, which I've created. It's the United Charity League and then the United Charity Season. So basically, the seasons is what we were just talking about. It gets complicated. So
FIFA.
Yeah, so the seasons is the same route as FIFA. So you know the way FIFA do the seasons games where you basically play, you got to get, 15 points from 10 games or whatever. We do that basically for charity. So we have Division 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And each division, we raise money for a specific charity. So like at the moment, this one, we're in Division 7 because we've just started it. We was raising money for Queen Elizabeth Hospital, which we've raised £2,000 for their children's ward. More than that. I think it's more than that now, actually.
It's got to be more than that now.
It's got to be a bit more than that now. And Rosie's Legs, which we've raised £3,500 nearly.
Wow.
The next project on the next division is for the Queen Elizabeth Hospital garden, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, for their children, for their children's walled garden. So basically, we're going to be raising money to get their garden completely refurbished because it's been, what's the word? Condemned? Was it condemned?
They're not allowed to use it, basically, are they?
Yeah, whatever the word is for not allowed to use it.
Right. Okay. Yep.
And then we have the UCL League, which is a league which we've created. It's in Champions League format, and it's basically just the exact same as a Champions League, but for charity teams. So we've created that. We've got Sam's team in it. We've got 3 people sides in it. We've got my team in Group C, and then we've got the reserves in the A team.
Midlands League.
We've got a Midlands League as well, which obviously teams in the Midlands. We've got teams from all across London and all across Kent. You're in Group B, aren't you, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got obviously the rivalry between the reserves, and we've got the group of death, haven't we, the first team?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the hard group. But yeah, that's all of our charity stuff basically.
Okay, cool. That's brilliant.
So have you got any more questions, Kyle, at all, or anything that I ain't said?
Just what advice would you give to someone trying to be an aspiring footballer? What's your best advice you could give to somebody who wants to be a pro?
I'd say the standard thing I could say is obviously you work hard, you train, you play every day. When I was a kid, as I said, I was out with my dad every day, playing, practicing left foot, right foot, heading, blah, blah, blah. Even in training and games you play when you're younger or you're 16, 17 years old, there can always be someone watching. I think there's an element of luck involved because when I was picked up at Millwall just before my 16th birthday. I was just playing for Dartford in Sunday League, just playing with my mates under Nick Davis, a good friend of mine now, who coached me all the way through till I was 16. And yeah, basically train hard, play hard. You never know what's around the corner. You never know who's watching. You never know what's going to happen. And as long as you're putting 100% into everything you're doing, then that's all you can do. At the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, at least you gave it your all. But what I would say is there is an element of luck in there as well. There is an element of luck.
Great. Well, with that as well, I just think, yeah, like you said, luck. I mean, I know a lot of people that I think personally should have gone pro, but
plenty.
It's not that they aren't good enough. So I've said to people before, I've actually had someone message me who plays semi-pro football. I'm not sure name's name, and he said like he's getting really down because he's not getting a chance to move up the higher leagues. And I said it ain't always about your ability. It doesn't mean you haven't got it in you to be a pro. It doesn't mean you couldn't go in there and go toe to toe with the best. It just means you haven't got your shot, and your shot could come on a day where your shot can come any single day, any single game. You could go and play a game, and there could be someone recording a bit of your game, and you could go score an overhead kick, and then Man United look at it and go, he looks like he's got a bit about him. Do you know what I mean? It could happen.
So yeah, that's what I was saying. The luck bit. I think actually before I'd signed for Millwall, I went on trial with Aston Villa for 2 weeks. They put me up in a hotel up there. I trained there for 2 weeks, and obviously they said at the time they had Jack Grealish coming through and Dan Crowley at the time. So they said, we haven't got a space for you for a scholarship, blah blah. It didn't work out there, but like it was a good experience going up. So that was a knockback. So then I think one game I was playing down at Dartford just in my Sunday League team, and the scout for Millwall, Barry Dunn, come and watch me and said, yeah, bring him down. So I went down, trained. I think I was on trial for Millwall for about 8 weeks. I even spoke to the guy that gave me my first scholarship, Scott Fitzgerald, who works for Millwall. He's the head of the academy. We played a game. After the game, he brought me and my dad into the office and said, we're going to offer you a 2-year scholarship at Millwall. Yeah. And we'll never forget that day. And then I can remember walking out of there and saying to my dad, like, we were just like buzzing, just give him a big hug and all that. And then my first year at Millwall was horrific. I'm going to say my first year as a scholar at Millwall, I could have been released. I was that bad. It really didn't go to plan, really didn't go well. Come back the second year, started to get the hang of it first couple of months, and then I just kicked on from there. Then that's when Neil Harris obviously come in as under-23s manager, started playing under-23s football. Remember going in and then signing my first professional contract. And it just kicked off from there. And then obviously got my chance. Ian Holloway was the first one to give my debut. Southampton at home, lost 2-0, come on last 20. think Southampton just bought Shane Long for 5-6 million, and I smashed him straight away as soon as he had to come off, I think. So yeah, that was a good memory of mine. And yeah,
good start to the professional football career.
Yeah, ever since then, it's just kicked on from there, really, and still to this day, I enjoy it every day. Going in, playing for Millwall, playing for the team I support, and it's brilliant.
Anything else, Sam, to add, or is that everything? That's it for me, man. It's been honestly, it's been brilliant. It's been brilliant.
No, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Like I say, people, if you do want to open up and talk to anyone, Ben's DMs are open, and the People's FC's DMs are open as well.
Always.
And like I say, from the last time, if anyone else wants to jump on this, message us, and we'd sort it out.
You don't have to play for Millwall to jump on.
No,
you can anyone.
Yeah,
anyone can come on.
Yeah,
except Tottenham fan Arsenal, and so I'm not Tottenham.
Yeah. You ain't saying no to Harry Kane if he's coming on here.
Yeah, I would say Harry Kane.
But yeah, nice one, Ben, mate.
Lovely.
Yeah,
thank you very much.